Okay, everybody, good afternoon. This is a Sunday on the VE Day weekend. I'm pleased to introduce the fourth in our series, which changed the view together review of the Mickleover Golf Club meets. We've had first one we had Mitch Hanley, we've had the president Margaret Brooks, we've had the lively Ted Harrison, and then today I've got great pleasure introducing Jag Chandi. How you doing, Jag?
I'm good. Yourself, Tim?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, you coping with all the lockdown, and are you managing? What are you doing? You're working from home still, or are you off at the minute?
Yeah, coping. So still working a few days a week.
Yeah.
Most of my work is related to airports, and as you know, there's currently not many people flying. So it's my job at the moment is just 2 or 3 days a week, just to make sure that projects keep running, and that's about it, really.
So you can manage to do that from home, can you?
I can do that from home, yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
based in this room on this laptop, yeah.
Well, yeah, talk about rooms. I mean, I've done my interviews from a variety of locations in my house, kitchen, Trace's office, which is currently being occupied. The kids are playing the Xbox in the room. So I'm actually in Millie's room, which is obviously pink look. So it's not my normal colour. So if everyone's thinking, what's Tim doing in there? That's exactly where it's like a boudoir. Cool. Okay, so Jag, you've been a member of Mickleover Golf Club since 2013, which we'll come on to in a moment. But probably just kind of going back, really. Again, I've known you for quite closely for the majority of that time, and again, we'll come on to that in a minute. But why golf? What got you into golf in the first place?
So I never really had any interest in golf growing up. I knew, that some of the famous names like Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh, Mickelson, Montgomery, all those guys, and McIlroy when he came on the scene. But it wasn't a sport that I was into at all. If it was on TV, I'd quickly change the channel. That's my view on golf growing up. I was always into racket sports, growing up playing tennis, and then that kind of related well to like the badminton and squash. Back in 2007, I started working in Burton upon Trent, and it was a small company, and I was in charge of kind of doing the weekly sports session. So every Thursday we would have a game of either tennis, badminton, or squash, and I'd generally win every week by quite a high margin. And it was around 2012 where my director just got fed up because I beat him in badminton like to nil, like 5 games in a row. And he got a bit fed up, and he says, "Look, I'll, take you on the range one day and let's see who's better there." And I thought, yeah, how hard can it be? You're still hitting a ball, right? So I was cocky, my usual self. I went to the range, and I couldn't hit the ball at all. And I had it on this huge tee, and I just, I think if I connected, it was a top shot, and it was horrible. But I'm quite competitive. So I said to him at the time, I was like, "Give me 6 months and I'll beat you." And he was at 18 handicap, I think. It was a self-given handicap. So I decided at that point, I think Carl Roberts.
Carl, the pro at
Belmont.
Belmont, yeah. Sorry, I was there for a brief time, about 25 years ago. Yeah.
So I was going to that range, and because I was near my office, I decided to have lessons every week for about 6 months. Quite expensive.
Wow.
Before I even been on a course whatsoever. And I think that first moment where I was able to connect cleanly with a ball, I thought, bloody hell, this is satisfying. Yeah, so and then I kind of got into playing a few rounds at Sinfin, and I eventually beat my director. And
you beat him, did you? I was going to say, did you beat him?
Yeah. When it's one of those where it's an 18 handicapper, but it's not kind of proven on a golf course. It's just a self-given handicap. So I managed to beat him, and that's it. I was hooked from there.
Wow. So you're going back to Carl then for a minute, because I know Carl, and so you've done something that a lot of people don't do, and it's a testament, because it takes a little bit of patience. Is that you've gone to have your lessons, and after 4 lessons, you've not thought, "I'm going to get on the golf course now," and you've treated yourself to a new driver, and then all of a sudden the lessons start to slip away and becomes less of them, and you end up going on the golf course, because obviously learning on the golf course is actually quite difficult. So you give yourself, I think you said 6 months, which would be a number of lessons over that period of time, 20 odd lessons, which set you up for going on the golf course. And you never kind of got pulled into going onto the golf course straight away. You were happy going to the range and hitting balls and practicing, having lessons, were you?
Yeah, I think what benefited me was I didn't know any better because, like I said, I was never into golf. So I remember the first time Carl took me onto the putting range, my putting was like that. I was using my wrist to flick the ball.
Right.
And just because I never watched it really, I never really paid attention to it. So it was, for me,
Yeah.
it was something that, I didn't have that kind of urge to go play on the course. It was, the range was brilliant for me until I got on the course, and then the story changed a bit then. But yeah, I think after one of my first or two lessons, Carl kind of drilled it into me that, you know, it's hard to learn bad habits, so get those
Yeah.
good habits in first. Unfortunately, it's not worked because I've got plenty of bad habits now, but
Mate, I will. I
yeah,
will. So you again, just going back slightly. So you're into racket sports, and I know you've got a real passion for tennis. And I know when we've been on some of the trips, we've played at table tennis and things like that. And you've basically, I think you just beat me a couple of times. And I used to think I was all right. I used to think I was all right, but obviously racket sports, and particularly tennis, I know you've got to say a passion for. And I know, so growing up, so just Pardeep, your brother, who's also a member of Mickleover, who joined after you, and we'll come to them, and your sister. I think were you all into tennis then as kids growing up there?
Yeah, so generally, kids that try and make it professionally in tennis, they start around the age of 6 and very early, starting in the game. We started, I think it was my brother's 13th birthday we started.
Oh,
And we all started with some lessons down at Rolls Royce, the sports facility. And my brother picked it up really fast. He was just a natural in sports, so he picked it up really fast. And before you knew it, he was, winning tournaments for his age group against people that have been playing for years.
wow.
Me and my sister, I wasn't really that sporty growing up, but I played, and I'm glad I did because it kind of put me in good stead for the future. But I was a bit more on a slower trajectory with the whole kind of sports thing. My
Okay.
sister, similar, she was started off, but she started off pretty young, so she was pretty weak to begin with, and then kind of built up a bit of strength, and she did really well as well for what she's achieved in tennis as well. She's
Yeah.
played in international tournaments around the world.
Yeah, it's
Similar to
amazing.
Party, yeah, similar to Party as well. He played out in Australia with Leighton Hewitt's coach. He played in the same types of tournaments that the likes of Andy Murray and Jamie Murray would have been playing in, although never to that level. But he was very good. He was a very good player in my eyes.
And have you all stopped playing tennis now, or do you do it a bit more recreationally? I know with your daughter Simran, she has
Yeah.
some lessons, doesn't she?
I tend to try and I go through these phases every now and then. I feel like picking up a racket again and going to David Lloyd's and having a bit of a hit. And um, it's funny because I think I'm better now than I ever was as a youngster because like competitive mindset's a lot more kind of there now, and I've a lot more kind of a love for the game than I did back
Yeah.
then. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, and my daughter Simran, so she plays twice a week. So we
Yeah.
take her to David Lloyd. She has lessons with her coach is one of the lads that we grew up playing with as well.
Okay.
And yeah, she plays quite a bit. So it
Brilliant.
is quite much a family thing.
Yeah.
Also, my half sister, so my dad got remarried.
Yeah.
She's actually only a year older than my sister, and she's one of the best in the country for her age now. So
You're older than your daughter. You're just a year older than Simran.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's my sister. She's I think she's under nines at the moment. So she's
Oh,
plays in the national championships every year, gets to the
wow.
final every year. So she's doing really well. So it is a very much
Big tennis family.
sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think it's changing now because Simon, she plays tennis, and I think that's more. I don't push her into it. I think it's more for a fitness thing.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of golf lessons, which because
Yes.
that's my passion now. I try and
Yes.
push that.
Push that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back onto a couple of those points in a minute. But so we're going to Mickleover Golf Club, which of course is where we would have first met. I remember you introducing yourself not long after you joined. Probably been and seen Graham came down, and of course we'd not met before, and we got on pretty well straight away. So just tell me, Mickleover Golf Club, why Mickleover, and what kind of pulled you to us? Was it just location?
So when I was at, so the company I was at, Burton, is a biomedical device company, and the two directors, the one that I had the golf bet with, and there was another one who played at Branston, but he had Parkinson's, so he was coming towards the end of his ability to play golf. And he was probably mid-60s, and he gave me a lot of advice in terms of saying, you know, if you want to get better, you need to join a club. So I went away, I looked at Sinfin, and you know, I went back to him and said, how about Sinfin? And he says, well, no, he goes, look at Mickleover. And at that time, we just had a new person join the company, Graham Pass, who's at Mickleover. Right. Yeah. Yes. He wasn't there for long. He was there as a kind of a financial controller or manager. Yeah. So he was there for a short time. So I don't really know Graham that well. But I just went over to his desk one day and said, oh, I'm here to Graham Mickleover. You know, what's it like? And he said, yeah, it's brilliant. So I went to speak to Graham Finney. I think before I actually went to speak to Graham Finney, I played a round with Graham Pass. So I had a round with him and enjoyed the course. And yeah, it was kind of just went for it from there. It was funny because the first time I picked a golf club up was in May 2012. So that was the first time I picked up a golf club. And I joined Mickleover in Feb 2013, so less than a year later. And yeah, I was kind of on my own, so I didn't really know anybody there. Graham Finney was nice speaking to him. He kind of said, yeah, look, brilliant, very kind of welcoming and friendly. But I think when I met you, you kind of helped me settle down quite a bit in the golf club.
Let me just give you that 20 quid that I owe you.
I think just kind of meeting you first time in the pro shop, because you've got that infectious personality, you're quite friendly, and that helped a lot. So you introduced me to a few people to get my handicap cards done and this and the other, and then just generally playing with different people every week, and grew to love the club.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, that is exactly the kind of thing. I mean, people might think that Tim's preempted Jag with all the notes on his pad here, and we've had a chat beforehand. I mean, apart from literally just saying, right, we're going to start in a minute, we've gone straight in. And again, I reiterate, I know you pretty well, Jag. We spend quite a lot of time together on different trips and even socially with families and things like that. So, but I know you do really love the golf club, and whilst there are other ones around, it's an attractive place for you to come and play golf. And I know you've built up some really good friendships with the guys, and again, I've talked before about the Thursday school and some of the lads there, and obviously the people that you've actually have joined on the back of you. So we've got Joe Barradell, we've got Paul Barradell, of course we've got your probably got the best Chandi golfer going, which is Pardeep, who joined after you. And I'm just going to ask you about Pardeep in a minute, because he doesn't know I'm even doing this. I don't know whether you've told him, but he joined after you, and I assume he started playing golf after you. And I must just say, a couple of years ago when we went to Turkey, just to kind of bring everybody in here, Pardeep was kind of still a bit raw and had a high handicap. And I remember that week he played like a tour pro. I mean, he was just ripping up some of the best golf courses and playing like 10 below his handicap. Everybody was thinking he was a ringer. And he played all summer. And I just remember some of the shots he was hitting on those days I played with him. It was like, wow. I mean, I call him the tour pro. And of course, his handicap's tumbled. And I think it might be slightly lower than yours now.
Yeah, I think it's... he's 11, I'm 12, but it's something like 0.3 or 0.4 or something between us. So this season was meant to be the big decider. So I kept telling him, like, I was talking a lot of trash through the winter. I said, wait until that first competition, and then I'll be the best Chandi again. And it's not quite happened, so he's got the bragging rights for a bit longer.
Love it. And of course, so you must have been mega competitive as tennis players together in the family as well. You and Pardeep, I'm on about now. You're mega competitive. I know you are as golfers. And of course, the brilliant thing, which I always think is really unique, is that although you're both in the same school year, but you're not twins. So one was born right at the beginning of the school year, and one was born right at the end of the school year. There's about 10 months between, I think. And you is that right?
Yeah. So he's September born, and I'm July born, so there's about 10 and a half months difference.
Wow, so both in the same school year. Brilliant.
So growing up, we've been really close. We're I think in school years, I was the goody two-shoes at school, and always in class, this, that, the other, and focusing on studies, and he was the bit of the bad boy kind of growing up.
So laid back.
Yeah, so I had to cover up for him a lot growing up, but then when we got to around probably 15, 16, we started to get the same group of friends, and so if somebody says, "Who's your best friend?" Me and my brother were probably best friends as well growing up as well. So it's, that's quite unique because a lot of people find friends outside of family.
Yes.
We, every week when before the lockdown, we were in the pub every Friday or Saturday playing darts with each other or whatever it be. We're very close.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. I love that bond that you've got, and I love the rivalry you've got. I think it's fantastic. So you obviously, when you joined Mickleover then, so you didn't really know anybody, and of course I would have potentially then tried to kind of guide you towards different social groups or people to mark your handicap card. And then of course, I think I'm right in saying this, in that playing club competitions allows you to meet a wide variety of people, the way that we kind of operated with the groups of 3 and 2 names. And I know it's now online, but that would have probably got you into meeting various different people within the club.
Definitely. I think it's amazing, especially I think the community spirit at Mickleover is what separates it from other clubs. You look at, I can't really say much about other clubs, but because I've not been on the inside, but looking from it from an outside point of view, look at Bredsall, which seems more commercial, and the likes of Branston, which is the whole gym side of it as well. So you've got different groups of people. Mickleover is through and through golf, and I think, like I said, the competitions, being able to put your name down with anybody and not be worried about not knowing who they are. I think that's a great thing. So I've played before the likes of Pardeep joined the club. I was playing with different people every week. It was whoever I could find, wherever I could find a slot that suited my personal life, and I'll play with whoever. So I like to think that I know quite a lot of people in the golf club, and got a lot of respect for everybody there as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that's great stuff. So I know you would have won a few bits and bobs at Mickleover, but of course there's one notable one, which is the Salt Cup, which is the predominantly the main major, Captain's Prize or Captain's Day aside. So when did you win the Salt Cup, Jag?
It was 2014. 2014 in the Salt Cup. Yeah,
so basically, just to interrupt you, then you've gone from not playing golf to having a load of lessons, joining a golf club, and within 2 years or around 2 years, you've won a long-established major at a long-established golf club.
Yeah, and I think that's what really helped. Like I said about the lessons. So the tactical part of the game came a bit later. The lessons, the ball striking, the ability to kind of hit the ball and get a sensible or reasonable kind of accuracy in place, that helped. And then it took time for me to go on the golf course and determine or decide how to actually play it and how to kind of use your brain on the course a bit. So that's the bit that joining Mickleover helped with. And then you look at my first 2 years at Mickleover, I started as a 24 handicapper at the start of 2013. By the end of 2014, I think I was 13, maybe 14. So I'd lost 10 shots in those 2 years. I think the majority of those were in 2014. So that kind of helped. But yeah, definitely 2014 was a good year.
Good year. And what was your score to win the Salt Cup? Can you remember?
It was net 65.
Net 65. Do you remember who came second?
Harry France.
Did he? Harry France?
Yeah.
Wow, you absolutely pinned him. Did he have the belt thing that used to spin round?
Oh yeah, he'd hit a good drive and then pull his driver out into like a shooting with a ball and then spin his belt and woo!
What a character Harry was. Loved it.
He was the funniest thing was I was playing with a chap called Richard Jennings.
Yeah.
He went to a different club, and I was on the 18th. And I don't think he was walking up because he knew that I was coming down. So he's walking up past the practice green area, and he said to me, "Oh, this is what I scored." I said, "Oh, well, I need a par to beat you then." And he just looked shocked. So I played my first one down the middle, and I'm in the middle of the fairway. I just need to chip it on, and I thin it through the back. So I'm in where the conifers are. And then somehow I hit this amazing lob shot to 3 foot. And I missed the putt and make the bogey, and I'm thinking, oh no, I've lost it. And I wasn't aware of how the count back and all that stuff worked. So I think I spoke to you just walking up and thinking, oh, I've just lost it because Harry shot par or something, and I shot par bogey. no, wait a minute, what's your handicap? And you kind of think, just summed a few things up in your head, and you said, I think you've got it, Jake. I was like, oh yeah. So I went home, and because you didn't have the how did I do back then, I went home, went to my mum's, and I was there like literally scribbling down on a piece of paper, trying to write a speech together. And then I got a phone call from the golf club. I forgot who it was. It might have been Tony.
Tony, yeah.
Yeah, and just saying, get a speech ready and be at the club tonight. So that was yeah. And I remember that presentation, right, because my daughter was it 2014, so she would have been she would have been 2.5, around 2.5. So that was bringing her to the golf club, because the family's a big thing for me, and doing the speech. And I remember her running up to me, shouting "Daddy," and I was like, I almost got emotional doing the speech. I was like, wow. But for me, it's the fact that my name's on that board, and now Simran's a bit older. I'd like to win another one, but I can take her to that golf club, for as long as it's around. Hopefully, the next 100 odd years, whatever. When I'm an old man, and take her along and show that my name's on the board. So
that's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing, because I know that family's important to you, like it is to many of us. And again, you've got young Simran there who's starting off and making a way, and hopefully in golf. And I know that you play in the things like the Golfer and Guest, which is really popular, which I take. We play with Trace and Kieran and Jodie, and we have Millie there and Riley. And of course, you bring Simran and Pardeep along. And I'm just on about us guys now. And of course, it's a real big social side of it. And that's, we'd have played one of those by now. That's the disappointing thing. It'd have been about now, I think. And I know Millie and my family all look forward to playing in that. And we all kind of get together, a bit of food afterwards, and it's great that it encourages them along there. And of course, it gives them a feeling of what golf's about, in a really casual way. And then you hope, and I know Simran has the lessons, my girls don't, and they get to the point where they think, I want to play in a competition. I want to get a handicap. I want to go and beat my dad. Right. Yeah. I mean, Pardeep will say, well, yeah, that's easy, Simran, because obviously I'm doing it regular. Right. I'm kind of giving Pardeep's words now, aren't I? But of course, that's the whole thing about golf, is that we can all compete. We can all go out and have a game. And we've talked about it before with like Mitch and that, is that the handicap system allows everybody to have an equal standing on the golf course. And that's why, if you play it for years, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what would you say is your strongest part of your game? Talking about golf now, so what's your strength?
I'd like to say my short irons and around the green. I think the last few years my golf game hasn't been what it should be, but I've managed to maintain my handicap, and that's mainly been because when I'm around the green, I tend to be able to get the ball up and down. So yeah, that's where it's been now. The strength. I think in the past it used to be my long game, but as my professional life has kind of moved to different areas, I'm not able to really give much time to golf and practice during the week as I used to. And when
you've been studying and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, so I started a master's. I don't know why. I started an MBA program in was it October 2018? Because it was the one we were in Turkey.
Yes.
And I had the interview when we were in Turkey. I remember that. So I started back in 2018. I'm currently in my final year, so I'm just giving it one last push now. But in theory, the lockdown's kind of helped, because it's given me a lot more time to focus on just getting the last bits over the line, and then finish the dissertation towards the back end of this year. And then hopefully, hopefully I've got a bit more time on my hands after that.
Absolutely, yeah, brilliant. So golf-wise, what's out of all the courses that you've played in your short golf career, 7-8 years, what's your favourite course? We'll push Mickleover aside, because obviously we'll take away sentiment of that. So what's your favourite course that you've been to and played?
Well, I think, like I said, with it being a short golfing career, you've probably introduced me to most of those courses. And I think if I say UK, in the UK, Walton Heath has got to be right up there. That was amazing. Played there twice now. But then outside of the UK, I played once actually in the Desert Springs, Marriott Desert Springs, which was really nice. But Turkey, can't look past the Carrier or the PGA Sultan. But you did ask me what my favourite course is. I'd say Walton Heath.
You'd say Walton Heath.
The difficulty level, the condition of the course is, that's amazing.
And as a golf club, the history of when, going in that clubhouse, as you know, we've done with, I know Pards qualified this year and we went down there. It's just a very historic place. And although it's very traditional, it's still very welcoming as a golf club, isn't it? I mean, if I live down there, and it's not that expensive actually, believe it or not. So it's only, when I say a couple of grand, but for what you get in, it's actually not that expensive. When you look at the two golf courses, it's a fabulous place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think when you go into the car park and look at some of the cars, that could be intimidating.
Exactly. Yeah. There's an awful lot of good boaters in there. Yeah. So back onto family then. So you've got Simran started to play golf. You've got Pardeep playing golf. Sonia, your wife, not got round to it yet, but I know she kind of enjoys the fact that you and Simran and Pardeep, you have this close relationship on the golf course. And again, as hopefully in a few years, she's up there competing with you. You all play tennis or play tennis, so you are a really sporty, competitive family. And I know that, again, having gone away and played things like table tennis, and we've played darts and we've played cards. We're always not falling out, but everybody wants to beat everybody, don't they? It's fantastic, and I love that. And say again, sorry.
So I don't think I've ever won any money in darts, but in cards. In cards, I always lose at cards.
Don't worry. As Paul Baradell says, it's about competing, mate. Don't worry about winning. Not in cards. Let him do the winning. Fantastic. So, is there anything you'd like to add then, really? I mean, obviously, we're in unprecedented times doing this. The whole point of this is really trying to kind of give people a different view of people in the golf club, and I'm trying to go in different areas so that it's not all down the normal familiar route, and so that people can understand, if they've just joined the club, who people are and who the members are, and they get a feel of the golf club. And again, we're all away and we're detached from it at the moment, but the whole idea is to try and keep people attached to it. And is there anything that you'd kind of like to just add before we kind of conclude?
If I was to kind of summarize it, I'd say keep doing what you're doing. The golf, like I said, I can't really comment on other golf clubs, but Mickleover Golf Club is a community of people, and what you're doing with these interviews, first of all, it's a privilege to be invited to this. I thought there'd be more interesting people to talk to, but it's a privilege for me to kind of come in and talk to you. But what you're doing is you're keeping the community engaged with each other. And there are older members, there are members that probably don't have much going on at home or are struggling to keep busy, and I think this helps. It keeps people, like I said, attached to the golf club. Keeps us looking forward, keeping positive, and waiting to get back on the golf course. The maintenance of the golf course over this time looks to be absolutely epic. So yeah, just looking forward really, and I couldn't be prouder to be associated with a golf club like Mickleover. It's amazing.
Good.
So, yeah, just keep it
Well, that's good to hear. And again, I know the people, the board, and everybody involved, Julie and the ground staff, will appreciate that. I mean, it's not always easy, and those words and sentiments are really important. And thanks for that. So no, you have been more than interesting, Jag. And again, I love the fact it's a slightly different conversation. Going back to tennis and working around your work and things like that, and of course the family rivalry. The next interview that I've got coming up is agreed to do it. I've got. Club legend, and he's been there not since the word go, but I've got Clive Ibbotson who's going to be jumping on, so that might go on for a bit longer, because if he talks about, we've talked about you winning the Salt Cup, which is fantastic, by the way. I think he's won something like 25 club championships or something silly. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but he's got some amazing tales to tell, because he had a privileged golf career over the years, but I won't kind of give that away yet because we've not done it. So everybody, that will be the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks again, Jag. For giving up your time on this Sunday afternoon, and we hopefully will see you all soon. Thank you very much.